Chapter 1. Burgeoning. $1 for the dream. Already everything one will be. Only necessities to step on proper landmines. Proverbial school of hard knocks and paved paths. Accepting too many sweets undeservedly prove futile at heaven's gates. Anyway, the only reality is sole perspective, a lens to a truth. There is audacity to authenticity, and many will scold you for originality of essence. Fear is simply the misunderstood. They say openness and acceptance go hand in hand until it asks them for change. They realize they never wanted in, and already too late, though likely for the better. When you have realized change is asking something of you, something it has already taken. The only predict is to trust it will ask. Can you keep up? Theory of debuts. Does truth get any closer than the artist at first manifest their honest interpretation? When public greed didn't know the username and gluttony of ego was simply indulgence of mind. While still a normal citizen, a journeyman of mostly merry days with few of bleak. Then pestilence creeps through the blinds, and I don't know what's safer, inside or out. Where a dark boy found another level, hearing 1968 James Taylor sing about sunshine, sunshine, and luckily it wasn't too bad. It was wonderful. And if dread has not met me yet, I'm sure we'll meet, though I'm tested and this armor always seeks debuts, the thickest medicine, with purity of sapphire, a gem in hand, part of soul, outside of time. Like the connection a black boy had in 20 with that James Taylor by James Taylor of 68. Bookends with an exponential curve between, and I'm just now building shelves for 2033. Friendly understandings, truly. You don't have to pack with friends. They want you to show up and have their back against odds. Tell them when to fall out if they're in love for reasons not sustainable. The friendship you have, when it's mi casa es tu casa, when you show up empty-handed, I'll have a full day planned. Because you were here when the P in ship was a T, and I'm above water now. Of course there's room for you here. The internet has enough bandwidth, and I enough eggs. Only thing I ask is that you wake up with me in the company of sunrise. As the friend rises to light our day, may we talk and show grace for one's past. Last request, to check in before sleep, placing dreams into each other. The future's neat. I may need you one day to wipe these tears, but for now, let us reside in peace of time. In, here, with. These moments are complete, like a baby, laughing. I offer my most sincere smiles and earnest attention. And because of this, there will always be a bag packed. Yours. Cross flowers. Is it sacrilegious to dream of picking state flowers? Bluebonnets, brazenly there, protected by word of bond, or the Alamo. I suppose in my dreams it's my id crawling. Different states, homes, pollination cycles, and it's a wonder how we're our child still. learning of state flowers, crushes and cooties. Then we grow. Twisted dogwood, still pretty, but not like before, when our bark was used for the cross of Christ, birth and growth of splintered spines. Stolidly trained buds display year-round at the Biltmore. In winter, melancholy tendrils mistaken for grace. There's a construed love of country and its hegemony that lives between my ears and behind my sternum. My preference is interracial porn, where the big black buck is sprinting, ramming into tiny Anglo homes. You barely ever see the white rooster pecking at a black base anymore. But that's where I'm from. A bludgeoning truth, my race came about. Colonial snow covering stolen Africa, turning black into a darkness of hearts, and mind denouncing lust occurred. Every time I gaze at cherry blossoms in Georgia, I'm reminded they aren't from here and are gifts of war. I'd say that neither am I from here, but several generations deep without a hint of language or name from our first continent. This porno is my country. This is where I pray. Will I love this poetry in the morning after I have dreamt my desires away? The most lucid, solidifying another reality in myself. Split so many ways I have lost count of the dimensions to those desires. The bed, my friend, nothing knows me better. Falling into myself once again, sweet spots irresistible with comforts outside so fleeting. Pleading to God that I stay somewhere in the phase where my heartbeat slow and body temperature cools. This is where I pray. Am I the only one to know you, since the only thing I know is that I, not of you, knowing, and you that is. And I need more people around me that are comfortable with their contradictions. It appears so many take stills and hold on to them, as if everything is not always in motion. Am I condemned to hell since I have thought about burning it all down? My anxiety has mostly had a love beyond connotation, therefore, I must be alright, and I am grateful to be here, able to have all the senses on my own. Not sure if this black boy turned man is burning or shining, but heaven, I feel pressure. Cursed with a long life, therefore it may move slowly, I trust. I serve, you I do not know. But when I say marionette while all they know is puppet, what am I to do? Should I? Awkwardly awakes. Why did you nudge me then? Answers lay at the end of a path only one can travel. Absolute is intention relative to time and temptation. Time the grand baseline. While others give me reason for malice, I gave you insatiability of good, trouble, and suggestions along the way. Luck you won't need, rather trust that I see you in tomorrow too. A way of life I've always felt bound since first feeling followed by my conscience. To you I do not know, my friend who knows me best. My bed, my God, God, my bed. Dancer's Days. First ones filled with frill, should have been with thrill. These were your first dancer's days. Nonsense the only kind, spin after spin, after spin, spin, spin. Playtime turned technique and craft, your duck now a swan. Unface, pointed fingers, sharper spins, intended grace, hardly felt and shown. Vibrant on your own, though you're better in twos, starting to grasp dancer's days. Pas de deux, pendulum of maintenance and recurring to-dos. Black tie event and black swan ego, teetering on stilts, considering an ideal fish dive. These are dancer's days. Exposed toes the worst of kind, reserved for those who have shared the grief. Tour en l'air, asbestos curtains, a saving grace. Presently, your finest work yet. These shoes, they fit. This dancer you've met. Ovation, worth the sweat. Oh, to dancers' days. Fragrance and sweat, smile. Dominion over us with its sway. A hand extended to who experiences many hues. The ode of dancers' days. Contemporary. ILYSMBIDKHTTYBIKYDLMB. Love letters from my generation. Ill version of the anagram and its sensation. The obsequious mind can follow. Guidelines from a guiled make me hollow, but life with you saves me from empty relation. I love you so much, but I don't know how to tell you because I know you don't love me back. Contemporary. Historically dreaming of tomorrow. I write from a beginning and an aftermath from a past that scorned mine for tobacco and sugar, yet rendered me bewildered, watching an animation's brain blast. I rest assured, from tomorrow's first settlement, that it is in the hands of the 21st century freeman to deliberately reclaim, opposing a wanton rewrite, the resolution of entrapment to humanity's chronology. Action from yesterday disseminates via baby rays of our sun and its rise. Same but different, and there may not be flowered words here, but history is more akin to rolling naked in mud than it is walking clothed in meadows. The last brutal cruelty of a race for the future freedom of mankind, from a formative port of origin that mystifies of Pocahontas and traveled from Langley, and only of an idea, so she shifts, sways, and shafts a tenacious tightrope. Still, asking for our hand in dance, apathetic if we accept or not, she exists only to ponder herself. Bequeathed to an unborn potential steered astray. Twinkle, twinkle, 50 stars. How we wonder what you seek, looking down on your own so high, unlike the diamond mined beneath. When the lazy rhetoric is gone, when he's spat at all to harm, then you show your little light. Twinkle, twinkle, 50 stars. In the interverse you keep, those dreary mentions you peep. For you never shut your eye until convenience made its key at your feet. 'Tis not what we meant on matters of talk and speech. Spat and spew your leaders, meek. Though we wonder what you seek, twinkle, twinkle, 50 seats. I wish I had more wisdom for you, outside of presenting the dwellings of presence gift. For mine, today is still stale from that other S word, not Superman. In this 100, the spectrum dreams to drip in, supreme to land as senator. Our jargon is shaped in empty and broken language, awkward. It belongs to a few that can only help themselves. Scary night. If only I could use hindsight and lumos maxima, blind sights, spots, where the fog is heavy and my heart is low, where the window of breath is nearly closed but leaves a whistling crack. Clue, humanity's next crutch, opportunity bestowed. A heart will grow, shall it be earned or stolen, conquered or developed. We know these algorithms by name now, and ours continue to change. Though I suppose nobody names their child Alexandria anymore. Anyway, some guy severed his ear and I wonder if it's buried. They say about truth, it's about keeping your ear to the mud, apparently. These skies swirl to fame, draped posthumously, silly game. I have a brother born Robert, though it isn't his name. Robert, too old for today. Anyway, that Robert Johnson accepted that cloak from Go. Black man goes stir crazy, dead as Janice sings from Monterey. That certificate dated 38, age is a silent star 27, and somewhere around 1911 born a generation of scary nights. Intentionality, the slight and chasmic space between charm and curse. Mediums alternate the same space, offering the same roles. The apparatus may charge differently, but it guarantees to tax the same. Futility occupies the blame game. We all call but a few names to check the weather. Nihilism had its dance. I'd rather hold a hand with plantation, I mean perseverance. Anyway, as old as time are slaves if we all die, anyway. At least I know where I've been. All these scary nights give me life, so I think, therefore I'll land. There goes God on my chest, before and after whatever is this test. Secret is that it is out, and we know that we know that we know that we have seen it before and know it when we see it and believe it like our lives depend on it. I know, I know, I know. What it is for me. I'm old like, I prefer red wine, weed, and vinyls. I'm young like, I don't know where I am without my phone. I'm strong like, shoving a grown man aside with one arm. I'm weak like, heartbreak in a sad movie pains me. I laugh like, I'm honored to be able to laugh. I cry like, the world must be ending tomorrow. I hug like, please remember this is how I hug. I fuck like, I'd rather bury my face between her legs first. I love like, I loathe celebrating my birthday but always enjoy yours. I'm bitter like, fool me twice, shame on me. I'm accepting like, I don't expect much from people anyway. I'm black like, obviously. Mid-20s. The precious burden we yearned for, not understanding. They told us to stay there. We always wanted out. Remember that one time we did that one thing? Remember when what's-her-name broke your heart? Remember how pissed your dad was after that night? That painful laughter was a precious burden we never asked for, and adolescence was supposed to be a lifetime sentence. It was only filled with evanescent moments. Years later, hindsight delivered laughter, but it was not painful. Like that final recess, we ran through it. Reds. First discovered in pain, when the first being bled the shade. They knew it was the color to live for, and protect, and scare, and scar, and trust. Our pacemaker we understand nothing of other than, when it pumps, I can breathe, and my brain is a shade of it too. Cupid soars in countries of red-dominated flags. For each being there is devoted and thinks, knows, I mean. Life of country for life of kin. And what bond is stronger than a billion masochists of original Stoics compared to idolatry-fed Americans? Epicureans, I mean. Whites. I wonder if virgins at the altar despise the rest of us. Sinners like these priests, and I admire anyone who frequents a building coached by man claiming God is in him for your sake today. Is that what those priests say in God's name? If it weren't for the choir and organ, I'd stay with my connection during meditation. When I show grace for my sanity and health and for my friends. That is my total prayer, as anything else is anything else. Everything has already been stated, and I wonder why the good guys finish last. The reason must be a secret afterlife, where I'm redeemed for the pleasures I did not take, for the pain it would cause others. Or is that the white lie that this confessional brings about. Blues. History may enter with flurry, kind it never is. To the mind, when it remembers the color of your time alive. That this year apparently it is also blue lives that matter. Black boy, don't forget that blue lives matter. Disregard that you're blue too. In part, these lives that matter made you black and blue. Under a hue of white light and whipping reds. Your black was so blue, your back so bled. The ancestors sang so colorful, they made a genre after you. But of your blues, not of your blacks. They don't want you to remember that the black gave them this blue that matters all of a sudden. Quan Mem, may something larger remind you where color comes. From a beginning, gathered light from black. The flurry of history, no longer opaque literature. Away from the boys and girls, out on the greens, getting blue and blacker.